right, team, another episode of Journey with Michael and Ryan. Kia ora, how you doing?
How we doing, everybody?
What's going on out there?
Long weekend here in New Zealand.
Yeah,
It's nice.
it's nice having, today is Monday, we're doing our podcast on a Monday as usual, and there's a public holiday going on. But when you're an entrepreneur, brother, every day's a
Every day's a work day.
work day. We've been working most of the day.
Totally.
But doing the shit that we love.
Exactly. It's cup filling, my friend.
It is. We're talking some more cup filling stuff today as well. We're going like depth into combat today. We're going to talk about fighting. We'll talk about the processes that you've gone through and I'm currently going through. Just all the lessons and the learnings that come from that. Very manly session today.
Very, very manly session. And like all things, Mike, I'm sure we're going to go deep into the realms and even deep into thoughts that other people may not have even had about even just fighting. Because for some people, it's merely just training, right?
Yeah.
Like it's merely just, it's something that they're doing. But when you're actually training for something, when you're training for a fight, it adds a little something else to it. Like there's something lingering in the background.
Yeah.
Like every moment of training, every sparring session, every pad work session, it's like it all means a little bit more, because inevitably at some point you're going to be standing in a ring with a man across from you that wants to knock you out and not be knocked out.
Why don't you, I reckon, brother, give us your full history of what you've done, man? Because it's very impressive, man. I love hearing about it.
Yeah, so I boxed for 7 years, like off and on. I boxed for 3 years, had a 2-year break, and then got back into it for another 2 years. I had 17 fights and 14 of them were wins.
Dope.
So only 3 losses. I won my first 9 fights. And then won 2 New Zealand titles. One was Golden Gloves, and then another one was just like a regional title. I didn't start boxing until I was reasonably late in life. Like it wasn't until 22, and essentially boxing found me as a reason to just get away from the life that I was already living. Especially when it comes to drinking, it was pretty much like the dark night of the soul started my relationship with boxing. And it was beautiful, man, because it gave me a different purpose. It gave me outlet. It gave me a place to put all my energy and frustration and to just have something to focus on outside of just the mundane. Yeah.
You're totally right, man, about the thing when there's that little lingering spot that's in the back of your head. And if that little voice in the morning is like, you could just stay in bed right now, it's warm, you can miss training. And then there's actually no. Because there's going to be a monster on the other side of the ring trying to hurt me, and I'm going to try to hurt him.
Yeah, totally.
And I need to make sure that I'm going to be the best that I can.
Totally.
Totally get that.
And it's it's one of those things, especially as you start to have more fights, it becomes more and more important. Your first 5 fights, it's like autopilot.
Yeah.
Because there's so much adrenaline pumping through your system. There's so many different things going on. There's so many, there's no thoughts going on in your mind. It's like everything is just autopilot. It's just based on the training that you've had, the movements that you've learnt. And yeah, my first five fights, I don't even remember them.
Yeah.
It's just, you hear the bell ring, or even as you're walking in, it's the adrenaline is just pumping so much. It's just once it's over, and you're like, shit, what just happened? Did I win? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm going through it right now. You say you started late in life. I've started really late in life. Come on, man. I'm 36, just starting my my martial arts, program. So I've joined a program called Alta, and Alta is a 20-week fight camp for MMA. And I'm fortunate enough that it's run out of City Kickboxing here in Auckland, which is world renowned. Got Izzy, Dan Hooker, Kai Kara Farrance, got just a slew of amazing professional fighters in there, and fortunate enough to have Eugene Behrman, who's coaching us every single morning as well. So the Alta program, it's so well done. 5 or 6:30 every morning I'm there, training till 8, and it's 5 days a week. And now they've added in the Saturday sparring, so we're doing Saturday sparrings now, and I've got 7 weeks to go, and it's been. This is how I like to do life anyways, right? I jump all the way into something and it's there. And there's so many things I can pull out of. That's why I'm so happy we dedicated an episode to what you've done and what I'm doing, because the learnings and the lessons here they're huge, man. This is it's really super interesting. Like the first training session that we did, leading into it, and Eugene sets us down and he's like, right guys, this is going to be, one of the deepest things that you've ever done in your life. And what's really interesting is I've had, ayahuasca service say the same thing. Like this is deeply, profoundly spiritual in its whole journey but just in a different form, in a more physical form. Like the culture in the gym is amazing. No one's talking about what they're doing or who they are or outside or whatever. It's just you're being met at this level of combat. You're being met. It doesn't matter. What I've found is there's no judgments on anyone or anything. Like there's just not. It doesn't matter whether you have grown up in poverty or you're a lawyer. Like when you're in there, you're just all in there for one purpose, and it really is. And there's no PC bullshit in there either. And that's the beauty of it.
It's because it doesn't matter.
No, because it just fucking
doesn't matter. Like when you're standing across from someone, when you're training with someone, it doesn't matter what they do outside of it. It's like presence, right? Yeah. And it's a mutual respect all the way through, regardless of where you come from, because you know how hard someone's training for something that's going to be probably the most challenging thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
Because it shows who you truly are. Like it makes you have to be vulnerable.
Yep.
Because you're literally putting yourself in front of people that are going to hit you in the face. And it's like you'll learn more about yourself in this journey than potentially you could in an ayahuasca ceremony.
Oh, for sure, because it's in real time.
And you can't fucking hide because everyone's going to be watching you.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you back down, people are going to see.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, it's 100%. Real. It's fucking real.
There's so many premises going on with it,
Sure.
What I'm really finding now is we've just really started in the last couple of weeks. So we went 10 weeks, basically just started shrimping, like butt scooting across the floor and just basically just build up slowly from there. And then we got into striking at about 8 weeks from there. And then now we're into full contact sparring, full MMA, like takedowns, holds, kicks, punches, all the things. What I'm finding is it's the in the moment lessons that I'm learning. It's like I'm not very good. I'm 12 weeks into never doing something before, but I'm getting better, and there are people who are at lesser levels or more levels or whatever, and it doesn't matter. But what I'm finding is like you just got to just practice what you know. And I'm not trying to do anything outside of it. I'm just going, okay, well, this is, I'm just at the basics. But if someone like today, I got kicked in the head like 10 times by someone who's a bit better than me, but it's all good. I didn't break, not made of glass, but there's these instant moments within myself. I can feel it. It's like this rage that just wants to go, brrr, and you just want to like rage out. Every now and then I can feel myself like biting down on my mouth guard and like, oh, and you just want to like slap back real hard, But the real lesson there is just to be like, ooh, I see, I feel that. No, okay. And keeping really aware and really conscious of it. And this is why I'm saying it's probably one of the most spiritual things that I've done or you could do, because in real time you're having to move off the identity of an emotion. Like you can see some people will move into the emotion and they become it and they're like ags out a bit, but then I'll pull back a bit, and so for me there's deep work in the moment of like boom, getting sconned in the nose, getting kicked in the head, and you're just like bouncing around a bit, and then you can just feel this rage wanting to come, but you're like cool, and this is where that prevalent quote that we say all the time, it's better to be the warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And it's the calmest person is going to seek more power, and it's just like, what can you do? Because if you allow anger, we've spoken about it many times on this podcast, the anger will cloud you because you've now moved into the emotion rather than into the present, out of the present.
For sure, and you're just going to react. You're just going to react. You're not going to think about what you're going to throw, and inevitably you're just probably going to get more hurt. Like especially if someone's already like hitting you and they're able to set shots up. If they see as soon as you get angry or you lash out, they're like, okay, cool, I've already won. All right, what I'm going to do is going to kick him in the head again, and he's going to be more angry. He's going to try throw the same punches he probably just did, and I'm just going to clobber him again.
Yep.
It's like there's so many layers to it, because like when you can get to that point where you're not just running on adrenaline, you have more moves, you can start to see things and set things up. It's like, you can utilize anger a little bit more.
Correct.
But it's like at the start, it's like you have to control that.
Yep.
You have to control that. And for me, like when I started doing boxing, it was just like started my spiritual journey. It's the thing that got me into it. But when I had that 2 years off and actually like got deeper into meditation and like understanding myself and mindfulness and, you know, going deeper into the shadows, it's like when I came back to boxing, I was such a better boxer because there wasn't as much need to control aggression. I was just so much more present in the moment, like through different breathing techniques, just through meditation. It was like I'd have a ritual that I'd do before every single fight.
What was it?
Even every single sparring session.
What was your ritual?
What was the ritual?
Yeah.
It was very, very simple. It was very, very simple. So I'd just place my hands on the ropes and I'd just take 2 quick breaths in. And then I'll just breathe out slowly. And I do it before every round.
Nice.
Every single round, whether I was sparring or whether it was a fight. And it was just like a switch, because you're
It's
like
a state change.
Yeah, you're present.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm doing this specific thing, and it's just getting my body prepared for it. Whether it works or not, who knows? You know. But it was something, because it just pulls you into the moment.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. I really love that. What's been a similar journey that I've gone through, that I'm going through right now, is when I first became an auctioneer. And when you're standing in front of a bunch of people and you're having to do an auction and you're having to count numbers and you're having to think about all the things and the words that you're saying, you need to say, and the legalities, and then you know, where are your arms, where are your body, all the things. So like my presence was inward. I was like thinking about all the things I had to say, and it wasn't until I'd done 5 to 10 that I got more comfortable and I could project outward, because the things were like more in my nervous system. You know, I remembered the words that needed to be said. I don't have to think about them anymore. And then that's where I could now I could dance a little bit more, and I could like play with people a little bit more, and I could bring them in and create that presence. And this is very similar thing. It's like, okay, I'm just thinking about the punches and the kicks and the things that I've been taught, and I'm thinking about everything. And it's that constant devotion to the repetitions of doing something over and over until it gets ingrained in you, and then you can start thinking a bit more outwards. Now you're feeling presence. Now you're like, oh yeah, like I train one-on-one with one of the pro fighters each week, have done since week 2, and he's just like, you know, you'll get to a point where you'll just feel that their leg will be there, so then you'll go and do that, you know. But yeah, it's a very frustrating process to go through when you're starting something new, but then you add the factor that someone's trying to hurt you as well. Like, you learn very quickly, and
there's consequences to not learning. Like severe consequences to not
learning.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then you are your own worst enemy if you don't add your fitness in there, or you don't do the things that you know are going to help you. You know, like it's all of it. You start eating crappy food. You know, you smoke some darts on the weekend. You know, like all of the things. You know, like it's like there's sacrifices for everything.
Totally.
You know, and this is
Well, it all comes down to, like, for me, I loved it. Like I loved the moment where I had a date set for a fight.
Yep.
Because life just changed. Like, I would go from, because like in amateur boxing, you got to stay ready all year round. And the season's like 8 months long. So it's like for 8 months, you're pretty much prepped all the time. But when you set a day, it's like things just turn up a little bit more because you're there. So it's like you have to stay fit all the time through. Because I was an older fighter, there wasn't as much competition. Like some of these young bucks, like even when they're like 8 years old, they'll have 14 fights in a year.
It's crazy.
Just because it doesn't, like, them getting hit isn't as big of an impact as when you're starting to get older and people are starting to hit heavier. So they're like having fights every second weekend. I'd probably only have about 4 or 5 fights a year, just because that's what I wanted to do. I was still studying and things like that. As I said, I came in late, so there was there's 2 different levels. There was like people that had come up to 10 fights, and they would call novice, and then there was seniors who, if you'd had over 10 fights. So if you've had over 10 fights, then you get into that 10 fight bracket, you're fighting people that have had close to 50.
Yep.
You know, the people that have been fighting since they were 8 years old, and we're having these 14 fights every single week. And it was just a difference. It was just a step above.
Yeah.
Because it had so much more exposure to it. So I did really, really well in those like, novice round. It was that's where I won my New Zealand title, and then as you step up, it does start to get more challenging. Then that's where I lost my 3 fights. So I won 9, and then every second one I'd sort of lose. But it's a fucking journey, because it's like every time you lose, you just learn more.
Yeah.
You know, the fight that I got knocked out in, which is why I had a 2-year break, because I got a pretty severe concussion. The fight was only 30 seconds long, and I watched that over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, it's an interesting thing watching yourself get knocked out.
Yeah.
Like, especially the first time, you're like, fuck, man, that was a bag, like a sack of potatoes.
Yep.
And you just, like, you can just, I can't remember the half an hour before the fight after getting knocked out. But I can see exactly what happened in the video. All I remember is actually after waking up and them like pulling me up and then like my hand, but half an hour before, no recollection whatsoever.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Do you regret it?
No, fuck no.
Yeah.
Oh, never.
Beautiful.
Shit, no.
Yeah.
I
only asked a question because I know there'll be people listening thinking, you know,
no.
that.
I sort of regret the situation that I got myself into. So I like had one really, really good trainer in Hamilton. He's like amazing, one of the best amateur boxing coaches in New Zealand, and trained for him for I trained with another guy first, and he got me up to my first 5 fights, but there wasn't actually much sparring in that gym. Then I moved to this other gym. He took me through my next 5 fights, and just like took me to a completely different level. And then I moved down to Wellington for work, and I was like trying to find a new gym, things like that. I found a gym that I like sort of felt comfortable, where the trainer hadn't really had much experience. He hadn't actually taken anyone to any amateur fights before. And just because I was keen, I was like, I want to fight. There's a championship coming up, and like I want to train for it. And he was like, yeah, sweet, we can train you for it. So I like fucking trained my ass off, turned up on the day, and my coach didn't even show up.
Ouch.
Yeah, didn't even show up. It was like a little bit of a journey away, but it didn't even show up. And I was like, fuck, all right. Gave him a call. He's like, oh, like I'm running behind. I'm probably going to be like 3 hours late. And I was just like, all right.
How'd you feel in that moment?
I just had to do it. Probably had to do it, but unfortunate because I had a really good first fight, but wasn't fit enough. I ended up going to 3 rounds and like just like beat the shit out of this guy, but used too much of my energy. Then there was actually only a 2-hour break for my next fight, and I was pretty fatigued. And I remember actually training and warming up and just being like, "Fuck, man, I'm feeling flat." And then my coach like turned up like half an hour before that fight. And I was like, I told him, I was like, man, I'm feeling pretty flat, feeling pretty fatigued. And I knew that if I was with my other coach, he would have been like, let's actually just not fight.
Just rest, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't need it. But because I hadn't had that relationship with this coach, he was just like, oh, you know, I just jumped in there. He didn't chuck me in there. I jumped in there. You know, I was the one that had asked for the fights. Just jumped in there. And the dude that I was fighting, he actually used to be 85 kgs and dropped down to 69 for this comp. Yeah. And he just hit heavy, like hit way heavier than ever before. And I remember he just like set me up with a double jab, boom, and then he just got me with this right cross, and I was just boom out.
Yeah.
Doop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still major lessons that you've learned in that though, eh?
Yeah, huge.
You know,
Huge.
And that's where what I'm finding now is every single time I come away from just every training, there's always something there. There's always something that I'm learning. There's always something about myself that I can turn it inward and be like, okay, you know. And I think what it ultimately is coming down is, you know, we're not made of glass. No. You know, the body's pretty good at copping a bit of fucking heat. Totally. You know, you can really just learn the structure of some sort of martial arts, self-defense movement, and feel more confident in it, and know that it's going to make you calmer, you know. And so that can really help people around you, whatever
totally.
situation you're in. There's so many good things to come from it. I should have done this years ago, but
Sure. Well, it's just such a negative stigma, realistically, right?
Yeah.
Like people think people that fight are going to be fighters, but if anything, when I started to fight, I stopped fighting because I had nothing to prove. You know,
Correct.
There was no need for me, and before that, I used skin scraps all the time, like when we were drinking and things. But it got me away from drinking, and then realizing that I could protect myself if I needed to, but I don't need to.
Yeah. What do you reckon? What do you reckon some of the main fundamental aspects from fighting that you've implemented into your life even today?
I think probably the biggest thing is discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the biggest lesson that I learned from it, and realizing that if I set my mind to something, that I'll achieve it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's probably the two biggest things. I'm like a very goal oriented person. If I don't have something to work towards, I just it's not like I do nothing, but it's just like I just feel like there's no course.
Correct.
You know, so it's like even with that, it's just like, well, what's next? What's next, right? I know that as soon as there's a date for something, or if I prepare for something, or if I set a goal on something, I'll work towards it and make it happen.
Yep. Yeah. Do you miss it?
Oh shit, yeah.
Do you miss it now you're seeing me training as well?
Oh, totally. I miss it. Totally miss it. I miss like just the movement patterns, but I also miss like prepping for that day. But unfortunately, because of concussions, I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't jump back in. It's not worth it. Like from that knockout, that was one of the things that led me towards leaving engineering, because it essentially led towards burnout. I didn't realize that I had a delayed concussion, and my vision just started to get real blurry. Like concentration at work went really downhill. Then it wasn't actually till I went to see an osteopath 6 months later that they actually reckoned I had a delayed concussion.
Yep.
And that essentially just actually led to me burning out and choosing to leave engineering.
There you go.
Yeah, and then I had a year off, and then when I came back to New Zealand to actually study naturopathy, I actually went back to my old boxing gym where I had my second trainer, the one that took me through all the title fights, and actually just became a trainer for 2 years. So I spent
cool.
2 years actually just training, training all the people in the gym, working under him, training people to fight. And then after 2 years, I was just on doing the pads and doing a little bit of light sparring with one of the young fellas that was coming through. And then D was like, "Do you want to have another fight?" And I was like, "Fuck yes, let's go." "You think I'm ready?" And he's like, "You fucking ready?" I'm like, "Yes." And then I had another 4 fights and won 3 out of the 4.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was dope.
Yeah. There's a lot of takeaways, man. And if you're listening to this and maybe you've got kids or you're looking about it yourself, I can't speak highly enough of it. I mean, I know I'm only 12 weeks into or 13 weeks into a process, but it's every single day. It's every day. It's on my mind. Even when I have it up, I'm thinking about the opening, and I'm thinking about, okay, if I do this, and this happens. If I do this, this happens. It's just always on my mind.
Mental rehearsal.
Yeah. I'm going through it, and then I get into sparring, and then it happens, and then as Mike Tyson says, everyone's got a plan to get punched in the mouth. All right, now what are you going to do?
Totally.
And we play a lot of chess, and it's very similar to chess. It really is. It's you can have some sort of idea and plan, and it's all about how many moves can you remember as well, right? How much more, and all that comes down to is repetitions and consistency and experience. You're not going to be amazing at it when you first start, and you're going to get smacked around a bit. And you might you might land a couple and you're all good and you're fine, but you got to keep your head down.
For sure.
Your ego head down.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
be all right, I got that one. Okay, how do I repeat that? All right, and then you try and repeat it twice and they learn it and they smack you. You're oh god damn, now I'm gonna try something else. Yeah.
What else do I have?
Yeah, it's really opened my eyes, and something it's super interesting with me too is I've been gymming for so many years. Before that I played rugby. And for probably 3 years at least, I've just been getting so bored at the gym. I go through seasons of going and then not, and I'd still overall have a good consistency of fitness and training. But this has given me a new lease on life. So if I go do some weight sessions in the gym, I probably might only do 2 or 3 now a week, but they're all just heavy for strength. And so my body's feeling a lot better. I'm not trying to like smash reps out, you know, and trying to build big muscle. I'm just like, and I feel like I'm nearly as strong as what I used to be, you know, when I was really, really lifting hard as well.
Different sort of strength away.
Yeah, it's cool. I really enjoy it. And it gives me a purpose to train for something as well. So I'm like, all right, I can just do compound movements and try and lift as heavy for 5 reps and move forward there. But like the body change is interesting to witness. Yeah, because it's different. The body adjusts and it becomes whatever it needs to be, right? And so it's really cool to witness that as well. It's like a new evolution of self. It's like this old version is kind of like disappearing, dying away, and there's this new evolution.
Jim
coming.
Mike's finally dead.
Oh, maybe
He's gone. No more corn and broccoli. He's on meat and fruit and
cheese.
fruit and MMA.
MMA, that's it. It's all working together very quite nicely. But
well, what do you want to get out of the fight?
Fuck, man, I want to win.
Cool.
You know,
what if you lose?
Then I lose.
Cool.
But I'm not going to go into a fight not fucking wanting to win.
Oh, totally.
You know, I want to go into a win. I want to give a good performance for myself. I just want to really have a handle on the things I've learned. You know, I'm not trying to do anything tricky. And I'm feeling a lot stronger in my grappling than I am in my striking. But I mean, that's just because I've had one-on-one training with grappling for 10 weeks. And so, yeah, if I can get the fight to the floor, I think I've got a much better chance of getting a good W there. But I'm really looking forward to tapping into and versing and competing against somebody and using the full fucking strength of my power. Like really fucking full strength of my power. I thought about this the other day and I don't think I've ever done that because it's so unsafe in this world. Like there's no opportunities to really do it, right? And so I'm really looking forward to really just seeing what's in me and seeing what the fucking ceiling of my power is and what's really going to happen. You know, like I'm really looking forward to it. There's so many structures to this that I'm really looking forward and pulling apart all the time. Totally. And then what do I do when my fitness is starting to fade? Like where's your mind go? What's in my heart?
Where's the mind go?
Where's the mind go?
How bad do you actually want it? When your fucking legs are burning, you lose your breath, you're winded, you got a bloody eye. What's really going to happen?
Fucking A. Hey. And that's what I'm really looking forward to, man. I don't know whether it's
sadistic.
Sadistic, bro.
But it is. It is.
But I love it, man.
I loved it. I used to love I would, not all the time, but quite often, I would let myself get punched in the face first.
Yep.
Because I'd be like, I'm on.
I get that.
Okay, cool. Now I'm going to get you back.
Yeah.
All right, how are we going to set this up? Plus, it would like let me understand how hard they punched and like what it actually felt like. And then I could like choose how I'd fight from them. Am I going to like take their shots because I know that it's not actually going to be that heavy, or am I going to not let them hit me again? Am I going to use more head movement? Am I going to use more feet? Am I going to like fight a little bit more with more distance?
Yep.
So yeah, especially if I hadn't fought with someone before, I'd always do that. Like there was often people that you'd fight again, because like as I say, it's not like a huge pool of people in New Zealand. But yeah, and I love it because it's like, okay, well, how am I going to fight now? Not to try beat this person, but like utilize my own strengths.
That's a really cool. I like that. I mean, but that's just strategy.
Totally. And I had enough fights. I wasn't doing that in my first fight. Fights, I was just going for it. Yeah. Seeing what happened.
Well, you could just
letting
be like,
the hands
I was
fly.
just letting them punch me first. You know, like it's all good.
It's all part of the plan, coach. Like, right, you haven't thrown a punch and we're in round 3.
Well, today's sparring, man. Like today was like the biggest hits I've got in the head so far. Like over and over. Like it was the last 2 sparring sessions of the day, and coach really got us fatigued, and then jumped straight into sparring. And I was just versing one of the bros, and he's just a couple of levels above me, you know, like, and he's able to kick in the head, you know, like, so I was getting in there and just boom, you know, boom, boom, you know, and I was just seeing the colours and flashes, and I'm like, all right, cool, you know, and then you're like, all right, back into it, you know. It's just like, you really do see what you're made of, you know, like you just see, and what's beautiful to see is even just all the inner work that I've done over the years. Like it's really come into play in here. Like there's still a nice sense of groundedness in there, you know, and just massive love for when I do get struck, you know, I'm like, fucking A, like, good hit. You know, like, I think that's dope. Like, well done. Just because it's in the competition realm, it's healthy competition, you know, and this is what I'm really like getting a handle on, is healthy competition. It's so good for it's good for the masculine driver, but I mean, there's some beautiful, epic women that are in this camp as well, who are just doing just as amazing, you know. And I love it's a masculine flow that's in all of us, because we all have the masculine in us, but it's a human aspect of like doing better for yourself, knowing that you're not made of glass, and just learning something that you can take out into the world and keep yourself a lot more calm. Like, I saw a girl today, like, after the first session, she's bloody nose, like, going on, she's just like wiping it off, and she's like ready to go again. I'm like, fucking, I love this shit. It's so good.
It is so good. And it's like, it's awesome watching people get like the taste for it. Like, I really enjoyed coaching and just watching the evolution of people, because people would come in and they're mincy. They're fucking useless. They couldn't throw a jab.
Yeah.
You know, when they go to get hit in the face, they cover up or turn around. And it's like, that's just your natural instinct, because you've never put yourself in this situation before. And then to just literally watch people get used to getting punched in the face, it's like, you got to think about what that's building in you. It's like, it's building resilience. You're never going to let yourself like get punched in the face in real life if you're already allowing yourself to do it in a gym. You know, you're not going to stand up for bullshit, because you know that you're not made of glass, as you say, right? Yeah,
totally, man. And I'm still in that zone right now. Like, I can feel myself flinching. That's why I got kicked in the head each today, because I'm like starting a good cross or a jab, and then I'm like down, and my eyes are shut, and he's a boom. Like, I'm looking forward to the day when my eyes, and I can see them coming, you know. But it's a little bit of
them open.
Now I could turn up the training. I'll have my mouth taped. I'll have a nose
tape on there,
nose ear opener, and then have my eyes open. So I'll be like, all right, I'm ready to go.
He's ready to go.
I'll get hurt more that way, I think.
Totally.
But it's, as I said earlier, this part of my life, moving into this feels like my next evolution of my spiritual journey. Cool. and it's really deepening my humbleness. It's deepening my awareness to my reactions. It's deepening my awareness and my relationship to anger and frustration. And it's making me feel fucking good about myself, you know, like, it really does. Like, I love it, you know.
Perfect.
Because you're coming out just going, oh yeah, I'm accomplishing something, and all of a sudden it's like, fuck, there's 12 weeks have gone by, and I've missed a few here and there because we're on the road and things like that, but not really. And then you're like, yeah, I can feel myself getting a little bit better here.
It's cool watching yourself get better. Yeah, it really is cool. And it's like, all of a sudden a flick just like switches. It's really interesting. Like, you used to watch it all the time, and people, it was like such a crazy moment, and then you look at the other coach, and it's like, he's fucking got it.
Yeah.
he's got it. It's such a good moment, and it's like healing. It fucking happens out of nowhere, but it's a culmination of all the work that you put in.
Yep.
You know, and you can't plan for that moment to happen. It'll just fucking happen.
Yep.
And then when it does, it's just like everything clicks. That aspect is now overcome, and you get to learn more complicated things.
Yeah, correct. And so I'm really happy that we're talking about this today, because we can go into the deep aspects of lots of things, but the physical realm, the human realm, is just as important as every other fucking realm, man. It's all part of the spiritual aspect of who we are and what we're made up of. And I mean, this doesn't have to be your journey. I mean, there's plenty of other different martial arts or team sports or whatever you want to do. I just find that this really resonates with me. But because like when I was a PT many years ago, I remember doing some like fitness boxing classes, and I used to take clients through pad work and boxing, but nothing like this. Like, it's completely different.
And most places do. It's like same. Like when I was coaching, and then another gym in Cambridge, a women's gym, asked me to start doing some boxing classes there. And within 6 weeks, I had them doing like sparring.
Cool.
And they were like, we've never even considered doing this before. And I was like, why would you not? Like, I'm going to train you and teach you technique. Like, you're not just going to be fucking elbows out flapping around. It's like, you're going to get a better workout if you actually learn to roll your hips. You're going to get a better workout if you're throwing longer punches instead of just like tapping the pads. And they loved it, because one of the girls ended up going on and having her first amateur fight. Yeah. When I left and moved down to now, where'd I go? Wherever the next step was, she like kept her boxing on and went to another gym and started having amateur fights.
Cool.
And she was like 45. It was dope.
It's funny when you're in the thick of it, how quickly you forget breath work and how quickly you forget all the things that you're like just said to you, and you're like, when you're getting fucked up, it all goes out the window.
For sure. You ain't thinking about fucking nasal breathing.
Oh no!
Fucking punching you in the face.
No!
Kicking you in the chest.
Yeah,
you know what's gonna win this fight is if I'm breathing through my fucking nose.
Yeah, we can preach and preach, but when the really the birds come home to nest, it's you just do what you need to do.
You gotta do what you need to do, bro. And you'll find out on the night. You'll just have to do what you need to do. You have to do what you need to do, man. It'll be I look forward to talking to you after the experience.
It'll be dope. So, what we realised the other day is, 15th of December is my fight, and then we get to go straight into a rebirthing weekend straight after that.
Yeah.
What a way to fucking end the year.
Totally.
Woo.
Totally.
Just add a mother eye onto the end of that, bro.
We're sure we can rustle that up beforehand.
We're raising, you know.
That's setting intentions for 2024.
Yeah, well, we've put some big plans into action for next year.
Yeah, it feels good.
It does feel good. I think I'm definitely going to book another fight next year. I've decided that.
I think so.
Like, I'm going to carry this on. Like even today, like it was nice having a sleep in and things like that, but it's not needed.
No,
you know.
It's just
like, but I need something to get my ass out of bed at 5:30. Like I need it, otherwise I just won't. Like I'll go through okay times of taking myself to the gym and things like that, but I'll still just do things when I need, when I want to. So yeah, setting another one next year. I think will just tie in really nicely with what we're up to, and then
just roll it around, bro. It just like. Even if you're not fighting, it just becomes part of your being and part of who you are.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it, because it's like it just becomes part of your personality. Yeah. Because especially if you fall in love with it. Which it sounds like you are.
And what's really cool is Beta. It's branching out, and we're sponsoring New Zealand's second or third largest Muay Thai or kickboxing fight down in where's their one? It's in
New Plymouth, Palmerston North.
No. Anyways, it boggles my mind. But anyways, for now, the brother Kyle, he runs it. Anyways, and so we get to branch out into the things that we love and just go, cool, we're going to sponsor that, and then there'll be other opportunities that come up, and so it's just this beautiful integration and merging of life with every part, and just be like, all right, how do we just run with this and keep it all going, and it's all good.
What's been the biggest lesson that you've learned so far from it?
Humbleness.
Cool.
Yeah, humbleness and non-judgment. We're all judgmental people. That's just how it is. But I've really found in the gym, regardless of what walk of life any person is, I have not found myself judging.
Cool.
Because it's just been like, you're here, I'm here. We are the same. It's been a beautiful presence, and I've really enjoyed that. Like once you step into that gym, you're just there, and there'll be people that you meet and not, and all the same things, and then definitely the humbleness and the seeing of the reactions within yourself. Yeah. And then also as well, because we just spar everyone, so if there's one of the smaller guys that comes in, and they're a lot faster, man, like I am not built for speed, bro, I'm just like the Titanic, man. I'm just I need to, there's an iceberg fucking a kilometre away, and I'll just pass it if I make a slight turn now. But that's all right. So one of these little guys is in there, like boom, boom, boom. They're like crack, crack, boom, boom. And it's just like stopping myself from giving a good fucking slap. Like there's some control there.
There's gotta be.
Yeah, totally. Because
you gain nothing from it.
Nothing.
Especially in sparring, you gain nothing from it. Like, no one does. And it's like, if anything, you just look like a fucking idiot. Because people are watching you like, why'd you need to hit him so hard? You didn't really. It's like, cool, you got frustrated. He hit you a couple times. Don't be a fucking asshole about it. Yeah. And when people used to come into the gym like that, us more experienced guys would then jump in with them and give them a fucking hiding. Because it's just not on. Like, especially if you're coming in and trying to, and like just allowing yourself to be angry and trying to knock someone out. It's like, well, that's not what we want here. That's not the culture we want to bring. It's a fucking dangerous thing that you're doing. So chill out. Otherwise we'll make you chill out.
For sure. And so I think those are my biggest lessons so far. And then on the upswing, like I said before, it's just there's some really epic self-growth in it.
Yeah, totally.
Like really epic self-growth.
Totally. And you see the evolution. It's a beautiful thing. See the evolution. It's a beautiful thing. I definitely need to find the time to get back into it. Even if it was boxing, I went to a couple. It's just tough. I can't.
It's tough, man,
like going into.
Are you gonna dip your toes in the water without jumping in? You know?
Nah. Yeah. Well, that's it. And it's like, it's really, really tough to just go to a boxing class where it's not really focused on technique, and it's just like a box fit class. I can't. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me. So it's just tough. It's like it hurts so much to not be able to do it. But I just have to choose not to.
No, there's no part that needs to choose that anymore. You know,
it's not worth it.
And especially with the brain, you know, just rumbling around in there. It's had enough hits.
Yeah, for sure. I've worked hard to get it back to where it is now. I ain't gonna just go step in and dunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Not worth it.
No, you're fine. What do you reckon would be your next thing? I mean, you're in the gym at the moment, man. You're enjoying that. You know, what do you reckon might be your next thing?
Yeah, I've never really spent time to put like a lot of weight and muscle on because I always had to stay like light. So I've just been focusing on that realistically. Like I've put on, like this is the heaviest I've ever been, 82.5 kgs this morning. So just chucking on some more mass. And then just switching it up. So it's like I have a new training block at the moment, so I'm just focusing a little bit more on high intensity stuff just to cut down a little bit because I do feel myself like my mobility's getting a little less. So just finding balance between that. I've like considered going and doing some group fitness stuff, but the timings never really work out for me. So we'll see what that's like in the new year when we're doing full time for beta, because I'll actually have more time to not have to travel and go to work and things like that.
Yeah, nice, man.
So we'll see what happens.
Beautiful. Dope. What an epic conversation. Yeah. Sometimes we don't have to just fucking pull the bath plug out, do we? You know, we can talk about fighting.
We're humans.
There we are. That's it. Hey guys, if you've enjoyed the journey today, thank you very much for tuning in and listening in. We love you all. And tune in next week, Thursday. There'll be another fresh new episode.
All right, we'll see you later, everybody.
Shoo.